Yeah, nice.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're watching Tanner's Haunted Secrets
on the Outline Network.
What they say.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a secret sound hidden deep within the center of the earth. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn up the volume.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Chainer's Haunted Secrets. I am Pyle Hazard, and today we have our wonderful Dr. Raz and Dr. Friday, and our special guest, Maximus Christian Bryant. And I'll tell you what, I am so happy to have him here, and I just can't wait. I've been waiting for this one, but I have absolutely just waited patiently because Max is a very busy person, and to have him on the show, it is like pulling teeth out of an alligator's mouth sometimes. But we are glad that we have Maximus here. So let's go ahead and start talking to Max. Max, my biggest question is, number one, thank you for being here, and tell us a little bit about yourself, because I'll tell you what, you've got this much going on for you.
Well, hi, I'm Maximus Christian Bryant. I'm probably, a little bit. First and foremost, I'm a married man, happily married to my dear wife, Carly.
Yeah.
She's over there with emotional support. I'm involved in the haunted house industry. I'm current president of the Ohio Haunters Association. It's an association that exists to strengthen the haunt community in Ohio. I'm an actor at the Dent Schoolhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. I do a bunch of other stuff elsewhere in the world. But yeah, it's a little bit of little bio.
And I'll tell you what, every time I go out with Max and I see him, he has got such a line of people that want to greet him, talk to him. And he gave me some of the best advice I've ever been given dealing with the haunt industry. It is simple. Just go up, introduce yourself, and just look at the person and say, tell me about your haunt. That has been such key words. And that is one of the key things that I have learned as I wanted to make this show a wonderful reality.
I think that I was talking to Jordan Jones from Brimstone. We were at MHC, and he said, you know what, Max, you should teach a class about networking. And I said, well, it wouldn't take long. It would be exactly what Pyle just said. And that's how you network.
Yep.
That's the master class. You literally just walk up to strangers and, you know, identify as a fellow haunter and say, tell me about your haunting. Tell me about your haunt. And just hear stories and, you know, learn, or, you know, kind of get a vibe of what people are doing and broaden your knowledge of the industry.
Absolutely. And you know what? Ohio Haunters Association is so lucky to have such a great person and a great inspiration. I say inspiration because you are actually the actor of one of the most iconic characters that we have here in Ohio. But there are so many out there, but everybody that has seen this character knows exactly who Pumpkin Smasher is, but they don't always know who is the one that plays Pumpkin Smasher, at least currently.
Yeah, he's I've been pretty blessed to have Pumpkin Smasher for the last many seasons. I hope that I get to have him again. I don't, you know, to your audience, I don't know if they know Pumpkin Smasher is the Dent Schoolhouse's character. They have a bunch of characters that is theirs, like Zobo and Lady in White and DS6 and Dr. Dent and Pumpkin Smasher and all the like. So these are their characters, whereas many haunts may allow you to bring your own character. That doesn't happen with Dent. So Pumpkin Smasher existed before me. There was about 5 individuals that had Pumpkin Smasher before me, and I was very lucky to get him in my 4th season at Dent. And I've had just such a blast portraying him for the last, God, I don't know, what's it been, 7 years now? And I really hope I get him again this coming year. He's just a lot of fun.
I can tell you, the first time I got to see Pumpkin Smasher, I couldn't figure out where Max was. But for the longest time, I kept on going to Dent, and I would never see Max. And it is great because there is so many people that love Pumpkin Smasher so much that they actually make like little pictures and drawings, and they give you stuff at Dent.
Yeah, I've been gifted quite a bit. I'm often gifted pumpkins, which I in turn have to destroy. Somebody thought that they would be smart and give me a pumpkin-shaped sponge so that it couldn't be destroyed. So,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea what character in any haunt would ever be such a dick enough that he would give you such a wonderful and terrible gift.
Such a unique individual indeed. But yeah, I've gotten fake pumpkins that have been carved. I've been given baby dolls. I've been given teddy bears, paintings, string dolls. There's been a lot of fan art thrown my way, which has just been really been awesome. But some of the best experiences though have been the people who bring me their phone and they show me photos from the last 5-6 years and say, hey, you know, this was you with my daughter when she was like 2 years old. Now she's 8. And these are all the photos from all the years. And it's like, you know what, when you're literally becoming people's Halloween tradition, which the Dent Schoolhouse uses that as an advertising lie, Cincinnati's longest running Halloween tradition. Yeah. You know, it I don't know, like you kind of really sit back and think about having that kind of legacy and that impact, or, you know, something that people look forward to for the Halloween season. So, you know, any year that I get to portray Pumpkin Smasher has been fun, a blessing. Unfortunately, this coming season, I have 3 weddings. Well, it's not unfortunate that there are 3 weddings. I'm very happy for all the people, you know, getting married. My sister, my brother-in-law, and Carly's cousin. It's just they're all happening during haunt season. So, you know, I have to tell the acting manager, like, my availability is not as great as it was in the seasons previous, but I really hope that I get to be of use somewhere in the haunt.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, I know through a lot of experience of talking to you and seeing different stuff, Dent treasures their characters. You were talking about Zobo. Zobo last year had to cheer up Pumpkin Smasher. And they made a whole video about that. And you know what? I have never seen someone so happy to be smashing pumpkins in a pumpkin field.
That really turned out to be a lot better than what I think the original plan kind of turned out to be. The pumpkin farm said, "Yeah, come on out." They picked out about 20 pumpkins for us, and they picked out this humongous pumpkin for us. They drove us around on a 4-wheeler, and it's a farmer, his 2 kids, his wife, and these 2 clowns and a film guy, and we're just, oh man, that was actually really fun filming that, and that video came out better than I hoped. It was almost too cute for a haunt, I think, in a way, but it was great fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Raz, I'm taking up all the space here. You want to say something here?
I actually last season when Dent Industry Night and a bunch of us showed up, I watched you smash it was a pumpkin cupcake actually, and you said it was the first cupcake that you could recall smashing at the time. So like you seem like an equal opportunity smasher.
Yeah, I think who was it? It was the Scare Factor that came through, and they had a pumpkin shaped cookie.
I remember that too. Yeah, it was the kid that worked for me that bought the cupcake there and asked you to smash it. But I do remember the Scare Factor thing too.
Yeah, sometimes Pumpkin Smasher has made a mistake. If you see like a small child that's wearing an orange shirt, sometimes Pumpkin Smasher gets confused and takes a swing, and he realizes it's a mistake when instead of pumpkin seeds flying everywhere, it's teeth. And it's like, oh, a mistake has been made. The wrong kind of guts are spilling everywhere. So we can't be too careful about these things, and we just have to eliminate any pumpkin that we find.
So I do have a question for you. When you're smashing a pumpkin, do you have a grin on your face as you are just destroying that in character? Is your character smiling?
It's how do I liken this? So like, have you seen these satisfying videos?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like sometimes people are cutting something and it's just cut perfectly and it's so satisfying to watch and everything. Mm-hmm. The size of the grin is proportioned to how satisfying the smash is. Sometimes some pumpkins are stubborn and they take multiple swings. Sometimes there's just, you hit it quite right and it just goes. So like in that video you referenced earlier, that big pumpkin, it was huge. And I thought, oh man, we're going to film me trying to hit it and we'll see how it goes. One swing and the damn thing splits in half. Oh, that felt so good. It was such a satisfying smash. And so that brought a pretty big grin. And I've recently filmed two smashing videos. One with like a pile of kiwis, and that's a very satisfying smash. So, it's good. When you see that video, you're going to see a happy smasher when that comes out.
Well, I can tell you, when you guys were doing the whole videos of Will It Smash, it made me so happy because 2 months later, I knew that I was going to be able to give Pumpkin Smasher a pumpkin that he could not smash?
You know, I love that the one thing you think about is how to get one over on me.
I would.
What if you would have lit the sponge on fire and then smashed it? You could technically claim that it was actually the power of your smash that destroyed the pumpkin. The fire was just for show.
He gave it to me, or he gave it to Smasher inside of a convention building.
Oh, okay.
If we were outside, fire would have been a more of a possibility. But this was on a convention floor right outside of their ballroom on carpet. And
Chainer was so happy.
Oh my God, I bet Chainer had such a grin on his face because for years, Pyle and Chainer have made the claim that Pumpkin Smasher was not real just because you'd come to the haunt with me and not see Smasher and then make the claim that Smasher doesn't exist.
You know, you've never seen me and Batman in the same room.
That is true. And Raz, I wouldn't put it past you. I would not.
So I'm really glad, and it seems like Dent keeps on going and modifying, and I know you guys have been working and modifying even more this year. In fact, I think I've seen some photos of you guys actually building a new room or addition onto the existing haunt.
There's always new scenes being worked on. As soon as the season ends, so we do our Christmas show, and once the Christmas show is over, the owners take a break, and then once January hits, demolition begins, ripping out the old scenes. You know, that takes some finesse because every scene that you rip out, there's a fire system that you're dealing with in there, and you have to be sure that the nozzles and everything are not destroyed or messed with or damaged in the slightest bit. So there's already so yeah, construction begins there. But every year we're trying to look at how can we make the haunt longer? How can we add to it? How can we add more value to, you know, everybody's ticket purchase? And so, you know, that's the goal every single year. And because, like, as I'm talking to people in the Cincinnati area and it comes up, I work at the Dent Schoolhouse, and they will say, oh yeah, I went there a lot. It's been several years. I love the fact that I can tell them that it is so different now. It doesn't matter what year they're referring to. It is so different now than the last time you were there. Guaranteed. I love being able to do that without fail.
You guys actually recently, and not this year, but last year, tore out one of my favorite scenes. And it's okay because when you guys tear out something, you guys are putting something in that is absolutely going to restart the whole imagination. But I did love the ballroom with the ghosts. I might have been the only one that still loved the ballroom with the ghosts.
That was a good.
But I really did like that one.
Yeah, it's that was kind of a staple for a long time. At one point, it was like a theater, and then it was it was a theater, then the stage, and then it was a prom room, and they really got a lot of use out of that scene. It's just there are some staple scenes that some scenes will have a lifespan of 3 years. Some of them will be 5 years. Some might be 7 years. But you know, those 7 year long scenes have to also go at some point. It kind of has to be. You know, we have a great customer base that come back every single year, and you got to keep them on their toes to where they're like, oh, we're in this scene, so therefore this scene's coming up next. Nope. You don't get to decide.
Right.
So I'm sorry we took out your favorite scene, but I remember when we got rid of the doll room scene. I remember a lot of people told me that they were very sad about that, and yeah, I agree. I was sad too, but you know what? Everything that's in there is just so great. And the amount of detail that Josh puts into each place, and it's just amazing. I love doing the behind the scenes tours that we offer because people really get to get a close look at all the detail. Those tours are only supposed to be an hour. I rarely keep it under an hour and a half just because it's so wonderful to look at everything.
Yeah, you guys got so much detail, and you look at the place on the outside and you never think it's that big. And then the way that you guys make everything wind, twist, turn. If you try doing a mental map and not go through enough times, you will never figure out. And as they change it every single year, they're not changing it just everything that was in one room. They're actually changing the whole room, the atmosphere, and even directions.
Yeah, we try to. It's always a goal because a lot of people, when they go into the reviews, they'll talk about how long was the haunt was versus ticket price and everything. So, with the amount of space that we have, the ability for us to, make the haunt longer, and we want people to be able to have a good long experience with actors throughout the whole thing, to give you an amazing performance. Like it's our world. We invite you to come in and experience our world and, have an amazing time. And every year, look for something different, look for something new, look for it to be longer, look for it to have something that you have not seen before. And I love that they, the owners in particular, make it an effort every single year that it's not stagnant, it's not stale. It's something new, and every year it's just a huge project that is taken on every single year.
So Friday, you look like you've been kind of quiet there. I know it's kind of dusk and you're in a graveyard, but you can speak up at any time.
You were talking about having scenes that are versatile and they get changed a little bit here and there. And some scenes just completely changed every year. Do you have a favorite versatile scene that just had for a little while been changed a little bit here and there, just enough to make it a totally different thing, but it was still the base scene?
Yeah, so the ballroom scene that Paul was talking about was actually a good example of that, because the props that were in there looked like people. They were in tuxedos, they were in prom dresses, and a lot of them were statues. Some of them were pneumatic props that were moving, and the scare would be a statue scare. It'd be somebody that was dressed in a prom dress or somebody in a suit, and they would be look like that they were just part of the scene, and then they would come to life and get you. After having it look like that for a while, and it was an under the sea theme, you threw sheets on all of them, took down the posters, put the posters back up. Now you have a ghost ball. Like, that's literally all that happened. And it was a ghost ball for a few years. And so, you can kind of do things like that. But there's also examples of where they try to tweak things a bit more. So, like, we used to have a coffin drop scene. It was a room where there was two coffins, and you kind of had to do a zigzag through them. And then one year they added spiders with cobwebs to them. And then one year they added strobing lights to the drop window. So, every year a bit more effect keeps getting added to each scene. And so even if the scene is going to remain, you still try to increase the intensity of it or a dynamic of it, even if it's something as simple as changing the soundtrack for it. Sometimes you find sounds that are better fitting for a scene, and we have this huge audio system that we plug the sounds into, and sometimes a scene just needs an audio change.
Right.
And that's one thing that we want to be sure that you get at Dent that you don't get anywhere else. Like the audio you find at Dent, you should not find anywhere else, because we I know, not bashing on any haunts that use Midnight Syndicate or like to do the loud metal music. I think that's fantastic, and I love visiting haunts that do that. We try to do it to where some music is specifically orchestrated for us, and you're not supposed to find any of that anywhere else. So it should be a unique experience.
So before I go and switch over to OHA, Max, would you like to talk about the industry night that you guys do?
Yeah. So we have, for the last 3 years, we've had a Haunters night where we invite you out to come visit. And if you're wearing your Haunts merch, whether that's a hat, jacket, shirt, sweater, we call it Haunter swag. If you're wearing your Haunter swag, you're going to get a discounted ticket. The discount is often about $10. And you get to visit the haunt for way cheaper price than what the regular guest will visit. And also last year we offered a special patch to all the haunters that came to visit. We're going to do it again this year, but it's going to be a whole new patch. So maybe for a lot of haunters that come visit, you start collecting the patches year after year. I'm playing host a lot of times in one capacity or another, whether that be in character or out of character. It's just a great way that we offer, haunters to get a chance to visit us at a cheaper price, because as haunters, we love. I don't know many haunters that don't love visiting other haunts, and we know that it's difficult because everybody's getting ready for their haunt season, or they're busy with their schedule. So it's going to be, I don't have my calendar in front of me right now. I'm sorry. The last Sunday of September. I don't know if anybody has a calendar. Hey, wife.
I'm pulling it up right now. Last Sunday is going to be the 29th.
Okay, so September 29th is going to be our Haunter night this year. So obviously you can buy the ticket at the door, and that's how you get your discount with your haunt swag. And we hope that to see any haunter out there, whether you're a home haunter, pro haunter, actor, makeup artist, just wear your haunt swag. If we see Hell's Dungeon, if we see, Chainer's Field of Screams, if we see you from the Los Angeles Haunted Hayride, and you've come to visit, we take it all.
No, that's pretty cool. Now, before we switch over, I do have Dr. Friday here that would like to ask one more thing, and then we'll switch over into OHA.
Actually, it's leading off from your wife's thing. Please tell us about the Kids' Day. That sounds amazing.
That's Sean, not his wife.
Sorry, I thought it was Carly. It was right below. Please forgive me.
Sean, there you go. Big shout out to Spookery out there in the Milford Loveland area. That is a fantastic haunt that is put on through the Dan Beard's Council. Boy Scouts camp. They do an amazing show. So, if you're in the Cincinnati area, check out Spookery in October. But so Kids Night, basically we call it our Lights On tour. It's offered the 3rd or 4th Sunday in October. Basically, it is where we're open before the haunt would typically open on a Sunday. And all the lights are on. There are no actors. None of the air cannons are on. And what we do is we set staff at different parts throughout the haunt that where kids can come and they're trick-or-treating throughout the haunt, basically. The thought process behind this was that, we want to basically build or grow the next generation of haunt lovers. People that are going to come visit the haunts. So what happens is you try to take a kid to a haunt on a Friday or Saturday night. you know, the strobes are going, the sounds are really loud, all that kind of stuff, the kid will not go. You know, it happens all the time, and I see it at the front. You know, these people buy their tickets, they go to the front. Once they're at the front door, a lot of kids don't make it in. But through the Lights On tour, they get to go in. There's nobody going to pop out and scare them. And I mean, some of them still get a little scared, but you know, it's an opportunity for kids to walk through the haunt, get some candy, and get to see the beauty that is that building and the scenes without being terrified. And often what happens is they will come through and then they'll be so excited that they made it through. And then they're like, you know what? We're coming back tonight. We're going to see the real show. So, yeah, basically this is an event where kids come dressed in costume to trick or treat through the haunted house. And it's our way of kind of building that next generation of haunt fans.
Well, that's pretty cool because I'll tell you what, Chainers Field of Screams, we do the exact same thing. Ours is done a little earlier, right before one of our shows. And I'm glad that there's other haunts that do it because, you know, if you can inspire kids to want to go out and look at these haunts, that is what starts family fun and family memories. Yeah, you always get those kids that are a lot more braver and saying, yeah, I can handle this now. I know what's going on. Then later on, they come to realize that all the monsters are out. And it's like, well, I did this wrong. But now, Max, we're going to switch over into something that is as much awesome as the Dent Schoolhouse. And that is everything that is OHA. And I'll tell you what, OHA is always going to be one of those things that's really, really awesome in my heart. And OHA was really awesome to bring me along to Midwest Haunters Convention. And I had a rough time that day, but OHA made it so much better. And just seeing the happiness on Max's face behind a giant monster that's eating heads at a convention, it's always a great thing.
Now, our relationship with the Midwest Haunters Convention started many years ago, but in the last 3 years we've been rebuilding our relationship with Jen, who wants the Midwest Haunters Convention, and I think even in the East Coast Haunters Convention, she wants it to be a place for haunters to come out, have fun, see great vendors, get education. Education for pro haunters, education for home haunters, and she's had the Ohio Haunters Association be a part of that for the last 3 years. We've shown on the floor, we've given away raffles, we've tried to tell people about the haunt industry in Ohio. We have had people also teach classes for the last 3 years. So you know, Ohio Haunters has been proud to be at the Midwest Haunters Convention as educators, as promoters of haunts, to basically continue the mission of strengthening the haunt industry in Ohio by going into Chicago and telling people about the Ohio haunts and inviting people out to come see. The basic way that I promote the association at the convention is to say, look, you that's a haunt fan, if you're coming to Ohio, and many of them are, one way or another, a lot of them have said, yeah, you know, we'd like to come out to Ohio. I'm like, look, find us on Facebook and reach out. Wherever you're going in Ohio, I'll be able to point out haunts for you. We put out lists of all the haunted houses that are opening every year, when they're opening, their ticket prices, the days of the week that they're open. Anything to make your visit information seeking easy. And that's what we want to do, is we want people to buy tickets for you guys, you know. That's one of my goals, and the other goal is creating a community in the haunt world for Ohio, which, you know, Pyle has been a humongous part of that. You know, Pyle is just really grasped the spirit of what Ohio Haunters Association was made for, and just, you know, ran with it and does the community building organically through not exactly through Ohio Haunters, but took the opportunity there and said that yes, I'm going to take this opportunity to network, and has done so, and now has created a haunter community around him. I feel like that's happened, and the association has allowed me to also build a haunt community around what I'm trying to do.
So OHA was really gracious enough last year, and I know Max has already sent me this, and I'm going to pull this up. This is a award that OHA gives out, but this was actually a special award that they just made up on the fly, I do believe, to just say thank you to me. And he chose this picture because this picture's at OHA, and the reason I asked him if he's always so happy, it's at MHC. If he's happy when he's smashing stuff, because that smile is what you get when I'm behind my mask chasing you at my own haunt.
In a way, that photo scares me, because like that weapon that he's holding is really made out of real metal. It is heavy. That thing is going to do damage. And Pyle's holding it just as happy as Pyle can be. And in a way, that's one of the scariest things that you can come across. But at the same time, the beauty of that photo is that Pyle is just loving being a haunter and loving seeing haunting things. But this was not just a made-up award. This was genuinely a result of everything that you have given to the Ohio Haunters Association, your time, your effort, your money, your donations. I mean, any time that I needed you for something, you were there. And I've always kind of said that, I can rely on you for anything. And it literally happened. Like, we had a meeting. It was going to be our biggest meeting ever at the Blood Prison. And I needed somebody to feed all these people. And who took on that challenge? On an extremely tiny budget was Pyle. And did it without complaining, and just everything about it. I don't think I can state enough how much Pyle actually does for the Ohio haunt community. So, like, you could say as much as you want about me and the Ohio haunt community, but Pyle, like, just in the dictionary, the word generosity, Pyle's picture should be next to it, because that's what Pyle does. And when I said that Pyle took the spirit of what Ohio Haunters Association is supposed to be and just runs with it, that's why I can't think of anybody else who would have been considered to be the 2023 Ohio Haunters Association Haunter of the Year. And I genuinely mean that, and I genuinely say thank you, Pyle, for everything that you've done, and even the stuff that you've already offered to do. And it just, I don't know, man. I think I've told you a few times, man. You gotta take some time for yourself, Oh,
I do. It might be this much, and it might be going to a concert or this or that, but So Friday, you look like you really want to say something other than patting me on the back here.
Oh, I always have pats on your back, and thank you for all you do. And my son and mother-in-law appreciate the pictures. But for those outside of the haunters industry, for the enthusiasts or those new to the haunting world, what type of things does the Haunt Association does, and what should one like to expect for finding one in their state?
It's actually a really good question.
So in haunting, you can be a haunter at many, many, many different levels. And I think about the first time I considered myself maybe a haunter in some way, which was putting a CD player with an extension cord on my front porch and playing Midnight Syndicate music while trick-or-treating's happening. If you're at that level, which was my first level, to the highest level, which maybe is an owner of a, professional haunted house, and everything in between, which is a home haunt display, a home haunt that, is a walkthrough, to an actor at a pro haunt, to a makeup artist, to a vendor, to a prop maker, to anything else like that. Ohio Haunters Association wants to be a place for you. And one of the best ways that we try to service everybody at every level is if people come to us looking for something, or wanting information, or wanting education, or wanting to just connect with people, chances are I'm going to find someone for you. Maybe you're looking for advice on opening a haunt. Okay, I know a lot of haunt owners that are willing and loving to talk to you about owning and opening up a haunt. I mean, Raz is at Hell's Dungeon, and the owner Fred decided to open that haunted house during COVID. So the man has a lot of knowledge, even under special circumstances. Charity haunts, pro haunts, all the like. If you're an actor and you're looking for actor tips, I know the association has people for you to talk to. If you are just a haunt fan and you're looking for a haunted house to visit, you check out one of our lists. I try to keep that list updated, as well as Scare Factor, who can update in real time when haunts appear and when they're closing. They kind of, in my opinion, have the most up-to-date list that I'm aware of. Because honestly, every year I'm going through Ohio, and I keep telling them, hey, this haunt doesn't operate anymore, or hey, this haunt has a different website, or all that kind of stuff. So I guess the question kind of is, or the answer to me is, well, it's whatever level you're at and whatever you're looking for. I may not have all the answers, but I will know where to point you in the right direction, at least. Or if I don't even know that, I will find someone that can. And honestly, I do that a lot, where I'm messaging people like, hey, this person has a question. How can we best kind of lead them in the direction of what they're looking for? And, I wish I could get more specific, but it honestly depends at what level you're talking about. Prop makers, owners, actors, home haunters, home displayers, whatever it is. Now, when you're talking about a state, not every state has an association. And there's no guidebook as far as how to have a haunt association based on state. Inside of the Ohio Haunters Association, there's the Cleveland Haunt Club, and that's more of a home haunter based group based out of Cleveland. And they do an amazing things up there. They really do. But we don't conflict. We try to help each other as far as what it goes, because they've invited us to their events. We invite them to our events. We've co-hosted events before. But, if you were to ask me about an association for haunters in Pennsylvania, I don't know what's out there right now. Kentucky, I also don't know. I know that New York has the Empire State Haunters Association. They're more of a newly formed group, and they're getting things rolling. And I know they're getting pretty heavily involved with the East Coast Haunters Convention. Michigan Haunters Association is more geared towards haunt owners, from my understanding. So, if you're a haunter and you're in a state and you can't find an association in your state, then start one. And then you would ask, well, what's the point of the association? The point of the association is whatever you make it to be.
Right.
And like I said, there's no rule book for what it's supposed to be. Your association can be focused more on home haunters. Like Cleveland Haunt Club tends, I think, to be more focused on home haunters. But they also cross over into the pro haunt world. They have meetings at pro haunts and everything. So, and we have meetings at pro haunts. We try to offer opportunities for people to get education at meetings, to network, to have food, to meet people. And the networking is where I think it's at, because that's how you meet people. When time comes for you to have questions, you have people that you can ask. I mean, like, if people are coming to me with a acting question, I'd be like, well, you know what? I know this guy named Raz. Raz is an amazing actor. And when people ask me for haunt advice, I sometimes know that I'm a typecast. I've done the same character now for 7 years. And if I were to get reassigned into a different role, I'm usually pretty typecast. I can't quite break out of a certain typecast, and that's hard for me. Raz, I think, has the ability to really be on many different directions at once. So if a person's coming to me for a question that I may not be able to best answer, I can point to some people who I think can do better.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think that you answered that question so amazingly. I will tell you that being part of the OHA has been such a great blessing for me, even though I try my hardest to get other haunts to be involved into it. It's really nice to go up to another haunt and saying, hi, my name is Pyle Hazard. How are you doing? It's nice to meet you. And they go, oh yeah, you're the one that helps Max with the meetings. It's like, yeah. So I'm not just Pyle Hazard yet. I'm still the right arm of Max, but you know what? It's okay.
Well, no. That's not fair, Pyle, because to first impressions, maybe that's what it is. But think of all the people that don't do that, because you build relationships with them, like Mia and Ned and Dave and Raz and Fred and countless other names. The haunting is just our foot in the door. And then once we're in there, that's when you really connect with people. And honestly, maybe if I can just boil down Ohio Haunters Association goal to one thing, it's maybe just an opportunity for everybody to get their foot in the door. But once your foot's in the door, what are you going to do? You have to talk with people. You have to engage. You have to network. And that's what I want you to do, because that ultimately helps everybody out. And that's why, Pyle, I think you were the best example of it, where I say you just take it and run with it, because you literally, oh my God, there's another haunter. And then boom, 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 and then somebody mistakenly gives you their phone number, and then, then they're going to be on a 2-hour phone call with you, learning as much as you learn from them. Now,
there are some people that talk more than I do. And I will tell you what, we're going to have him on one of the shows. He's already said he wants to come on one of the shows, and he's from Tennessee.
Pyle, you might say that you're the armpit of you.
What, that little rash that just happens to spring up in the middle of nowhere?
I'm talking about the shirt, man.
Oh yeah, my favorite OHA shirt.
Oh my God, that shirt!
That one's so bad.
I almost want to reimburse you for that shirt. Oh my goodness!
You have tried many times over, and I will not give it to you.
I will.
Does your audience know what that is?
Oh yeah.
No.
Okay.
He actually wears it sometimes for shows. I'm surprised he didn't.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
It's legendary.
We took all the OHA shirts, we cleaned them, we stuck them in the closet. It's upstairs. But yeah, it's actually a misprint of a OHA shirt, and instead of having the emblem here, it is actually right here. And
look,
he sees it, and the first words out of his mouth is, look, you have so many other OHA shirts. You chose that one. Yeah.
Look, and to back when you bought this shirt, OHA was rebuilding, and we had no money, and we're trying to build funds up so that we can have food at events and all that other kind of stuff. So, you know what? I marked down that shirt to pretty cheap, and just to put a few more dollars in the account. But he keeps wearing the damn thing.
It's a conversation piece. I will tell you right now. People have looked at it and just stared at it. It's like, yeah, I know it's a misprint, but it's one of my favorite shirts just because it gets people to look at it and go, something's not right, and then they read it.
Can somebody make a two-tone shirt design of an armpit with like Pyle's face like right there?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's the next OHA shirt design.
They have it beat or equal at least. So I don't wear jackets or coats, nothing like that. I don't wear long sleeve shirts. I wear flannels. That's all I wear. And for years I've been bugging Fred like, man, can I bring you a flannel? I want Hell's Dungeon logos put all over a flannel. He's like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, buy it, and bring it in. So I bought it and I bring it in, and Jessica makes it for me. And I want, a logo centered on the back, one of the newer logos, and just like the Hell's Dungeon over one of the pockets. Well, she puts the over the pocket like up here, like almost at my collarbone level, and on the back slightly off. Okay, whatever, no big deal. Fred sees like, who the fuck printed that? I'm like, Jessica. He's like, give me the link to the flannel. I'm gonna buy another flannel and we're gonna do it right. I'm like, I'm fine with it. I'm gonna wear it.
Right. Right.
Well, so they make another one, and it's right on the pocket, but on the back, it's off by like 4 or 5 inches. It's almost like to the side in the middle of the back now. So now I have 2 different misprint flannels that I just alternated different times, and every time I walk the hunt, Fred's just like,
right.
And I wear them to events too. Like I wear them tagged to events to promote and stuff.
So I do want to talk about one last thing before we go to commercial break, and Max is going to disappear during the commercial break. But so Chainer's Field of Screams has many different markings, and this is the Maximus mark. And the reason that he's got the Maximus rabbit one is because at his home haunt, he had this girl go through twice that was dressed as a rabbit. And I looked at him. I said, can I please go after her? Can I please make her regret her decision? And he goes, yes, whatever, go for it. So I went flying after this girl so bad, and there was a fence that fell down, and I slipped, and I took my knee, went through the fence, busted one of the boards as it was laying on the ground, hit the ground so hard, but I got back up in character, and I kept on going, bunny, bunny, bunny. As I looked up, and I'm thinking, she's gone. She's already 5 miles down the road, whatever. She's had enough of me. I picked my head up, and here's her friend holding her. And she is kicking and screaming and trying to jump. And I was like, bunny! And I lunged at her one last time. And Max looked at me and goes, was that good? And I said, oh, yeah. That made me feel good. That really did. We actually have one more thing. And Max, what is this?
The Halloween in July market. So this great event in Circleville, Ohio, is being put on by the Goodles Doodles, an amazing vendor who makes amazing looking Halloween merch, prints, all kinds of great stuff. The event was made is going to be at the fairgrounds in Pickaway County, and it's a 1-day event. And the whole theme of it is just having Halloween in July. And the Ohio Haunters Association is going to get to be a part of this event. We're going to have some people dressing characters to bring some value to the event. We're going to have makeup demonstrations. Sean, if he's around there, he's supposed to be doing a tombstone demonstration. And I really hope that people of the Ohio haunt community, or now any community, comes out to this great event in Circleville. This event has been growing every single year. A ton of amazing vendors, Halloween-related vendors, great indoor space. So rain or shine, this event is happening. And Ohio Haunters is just excited to be a part of this event because, Pyle, you and I went to an event in Cleveland, and we have these lists of haunts that we're opening, and people just take the lists. They just snatch them up. And so I I found that there's actually a lot of value in that, to where we can go to an event and say, hey, we're here at this event in Circleville, which is just a little south of Columbus, and say, hey, in this area, here's the closest haunts in your area. But if you're not from this area and you're from somewhere else, here's the haunts in those areas. And people just are excited to take those lists. So we're continuing that goal with Ohio to say that we're trying to get people to come visit everybody's haunts. And, you know, the way we're doing that is telling people who the haunts are and where they are. And so we hope to do that there while adding value to the event of having, actors for you to take selfies with and to see some great makeup and tombstone demonstrations.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm very glad that they're allowing OHA to come in, bring some of the creatures, monsters, characters from different haunts. I know that I've got a couple that are coming with me from my haunt, and they've got their new characters that are going to be brand new to this year at our haunt. So we've got a couple different monsters from us coming. Chainer, as long as he's a good boy, he'll get out of his rotten cage a little bit. But we all know that Chainer, he likes to give out samples, right, Raz?
Yep.
And I don't know if we can give out samples with Chainer.
Pumpkin Smasher is supposed to be there too, so we'll see how that goes.
So we're going to have to get in there, Scrub Daddy. That's all I heard.
Yeah. You're just waiting to hear from his makeup artist.
What's that?
Produce is waiting to hear from his makeup artist right now.
Right.
Well, it's I'm very excited. So I'm excited for anybody coming in character that's will involved here their time. I'm very excited that we get to be a part of this event, and I really hope that we add value that I seek for it, because haunting is part of Halloween, and haunted houses are a huge part of the Halloween tradition for a lot of people. So my hope is that we get to do this event, and it keeps us going towards our goal of strengthening the haunt community in Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the main goal of OHA, to absolutely strengthen everything, to make everybody be able to see it. And the count was 137 haunts last year, which just absolutely devastated California. And Ohio officially had had the most haunts that people could actually find, and was on record. And me and Raz has talked about this many times. You have pop-up haunts.
There's
actually ones that show up, disappear.
There's more pop-up and unincorporated haunts than there are official haunts. The number that is, from what I could gather from people just asking people in their different counties, like how many haunts are in their counties and stuff, that number was not quite tripled, but almost tripled from the official count with all the unincorporated and pop-up.
And that's kind of the interesting thing, I think, that we try to do through Ohio Haunters is we've tried to get the off-the-grid haunters. One way we tried that last year was that we were passing out cards. We had these cards, and if somebody found an off-the-grid haunter, you gave them a card and said, hey, your haunt looks amazing, or your house looks amazing, post it on this page. Haunters, I think, sometimes start off the grid, but we'll find them eventually, and then we'll add them to everything, because I love finding new haunts. I love learning about new haunts that are opening up and where they're going to be. And if anybody knows of one that I may not know, because local sources are oftentimes better than my Facebook searches, hit me up, let me know where it's going to be so I can find it and get it on the list and get it out there.
That little garage sale, the haunted garage sale we did last year in Chicago, Max, we found one. Or Cleveland, yeah, my bad.
We did
in Cleveland. We actually found one, and I told him, Max, I said, yeah, their picture's over there. And he goes, how did I miss that one? I said, oh.
Yeah, Yeah, that caught me off guard. I'm like, how? To be perfectly honest, the Cleveland area is still probably my weakest as far as knowledge of haunts. But there's also a lot over there, and I'm finding new ones all the time, and I love finding them.
Right.
And bring them into the fold.
So before we go into commercial, Max, if you would like, where would you like people to get a hold of you, get a hold of Dent, look up Dent, look up the OHA? Where can people find you?
So if you want to get a hold of me specifically, Facebook is always the best. Maximus Christian Bryant. Just shoot me a message or find me on Facebook. Send a friend request. If you're looking for the Ohio Haunters Association, that's a Facebook group. We have an Instagram. We also have a TikTok. But following us on, joining the group on Facebook is the best. There's no membership fees at this time. This is purely a passion project that exists for the goals I've previously stated. For the Dent Schoolhouse, just find it Facebook, Instagram, dentschoolhouse.com. The calendar's already out and the special events are already listed, so go and check it out. And as a personal favor to me, if you don't mind finding the Dent Schoolhouse on TikTok, I'm part of the team that puts on all the TikToks, and it is so fun to put together those videos. I love doing it. I love creating videos, and I love doing all the little skits that we do. And posting them. And so, if you don't mind finding the Dent Schoolhouse on TikTok and giving it a follow, as well as doing that for the Instagram and the Facebook page, I would greatly appreciate it. And hearts to all of you for it. So, yeah, that's where I think you find everything that I'm a part of in the haunt world.
Raz, is there anything else you had?
No.
Okay. Max, when we started this here, I had you pick a number. Do you remember what that number is?
It was 7.
Okay. So here at Chainer's Haunted Secrets, it is connected with Chainer's Field of Screams in Botkins, Ohio. And I have the right as the owner of Chainer's Field of Screams to give out tickets. And we decided that the best way to do this was that we were going to go ahead and put our number up. That way people could see the number. And when we go to commercial, caller number 7, that gets my phone to ring. And I mean, it is right here. That's why we're doing it on commercial break. I will go ahead and give you 2 tickets into Chainer's Field of Screams for free. But that's as soon as the commercial starts. Max, it's been a blast having you. I hope sometime in the future we're able to do something else with you, because you're a wonderful person and everybody loves you, even your wife that's over there. And tell her thank you for behaving while we are doing this show.
You did not. He did not behave.
But thank you very much. Thank you very much, Max. And you have yourself a great one. We're going to start our commercial break, and once we come back from the break,
you.
It was wonderful meeting you, Dr. Friday, and Raz. Always great to see you. And Pyle, thank you again for this, for having me on, and just everything that you do. Love you, buddy.
Have an OHA meeting. I don't care if it's in the middle of a park. But anyway, thank you very much, Max. And we're going to start our commercials, and we'll see who wins at the end.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Reductopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Octopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
Hey, we're back, and trust me, someone's a happy camper. They called, and they were number 7. It is Christy. So, Christy, congratulations on these tickets. I got the information from you, and we'll get them sent out to you. Trust me, I got the envelope here, the stamps. You know what? We'll get that mailed out as soon as I get to the post office.
I was caller 4, but I was just calling to tell you I like turtles. And you're like, you're caller 4, and you hung up on me. I'm like,
that's how you do it in the radio business. You just absolutely tell them and you slam the. But that's awesome, Christy. Congratulations. She's from our area, so I'm really glad. She said that she enjoys the haunt. So let's go ahead and get these tickets sent out. And Christy, please, absolutely, when we have these shows and they're live shows, we want to give tickets out. There's going to be tickets not just from me. There might be tickets from other haunts.
Yep.
Because there might be a Dr. Raz that knows a haunt.
Yeah. I've already been given the green light to start giving tickets away in the near future. So we're going to have definitely tickets to Hell's Dungeon in Dayton as well. And we'll see who else we can con into doing stuff with it.
That's awesome. And I'll tell you, we gave away tickets in our first episode of Chainer's Haunted Secrets, and it was to Carnage. There is some ups and downs with Carnage, so we hope that whatever they decide this year, they have a wonderful blessing from us.
Yep, full love and support.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're great. Thank you.
Christy.
Now, Christy, I just do want to tell you that there's an opportunity for you to like and share these wonderful videos when they go live. That way your friends can get a hold of us when we do the drawings also. I mean, you got 2 tickets, but if you go and you share it, and that goes for everybody, anybody that wants to win, just share them with your friends. That way your odds get a little faster or a little better. And the next person we have on here as a guest, they're going to have to pick a number too. And trust me, that phone goes really quick. As soon as you stop seeing the number scrolling at the bottom, means that we do have a winner.
Yep. It's exciting, people. Every 2 weeks, mark your calendars.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I give these tickets away to radio stations. I give them away to different things. Some companies, they get a hold of me and ask me, hey, can I get free tickets? And it's like, well, you know what? I'll give you a couple free tickets. And sometimes companies actually get a hold of us and they want to have a special thing, and we actually make special tickets with the company's embroiderment on it and designs and all that stuff.
Now,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, come fall, either we're gonna switch to pre-recorded shows, or we'll switch to a different night of the week, maybe, since it's gonna be a new season for the fall season, in order to stay live and give more tickets away. But either way, there will still be ticket giveaways. You just may, if we're doing pre-recorded, you'll just have to pay attention to our social medias.
Yeah, that's a good chance that we actually, I didn't even think about that, but maybe perhaps going to a different night during some of our busy season just might be the key. That way it gets people thinking about the haunt industry and think about what haunt. One of the things that Maximus has always said is, "Hi, I'm Maximus. I'm with the OHA. What haunt are you thinking about going to?" Well, that's one of the biggest things. When you're going, you got to know your strategy. You're thinking about haunts on a Wednesday because some haunts open on a Thursday. By Thursday, you're really thinking about them. Friday, you got to figure out which one you're going to, because you're going that day or you're going to go Saturday, and you got to figure out, if I miss that, what haunts are open on Sundays. This is one of the key factors to promoting haunts. You've got to figure out what haunt you're thinking about and how far do you want to drive. We have people come to Chainers Haunted Secrets. How about Chainers Field of Scream? Man, I should have changed the name somewhere. But we have people come to Chainers Field of Screams, and they come from Indiana. And that's over an hour drive from us, but they love doing the drive. They love going through these smaller towns, and it brings business to our community, which is a great thing.
No, we get a number of Canadian guests every year that come up, and there's a lot of big Canadian haunter groups that they do like carpooling and like traveling, and they like to come up and see a lot of the Ohio haunts. So you'll see it's usually the same people every year that come through, a couple newbies. Farthest away we ever had was Israel, oddly, because there was a foreign exchange program where a lot of them were meeting up at Wright State, and they all wanted to go to haunts and found out about us. So we actually had 4 back-to-back groups of people that all had multiple interpreters with them. So that was a really awesome experience. You never know where people are going to come from, man.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, when you're in the industry, it is really great just to hear people's stories of how did you find me? What made you want to come here? And our haunt, we are a charity haunt, and I love being a charity haunt because we donate the money throughout plenty of different places. Dr. Friday, you look like you want to jump in here at any time.
Yeah, it's been kind of hard to do that. You were talking about they were coming from an hour away. The 2 closest haunts to me in Texas, because everything is so far away, the DeRitter haunt in Louisiana and the Texas Maze haunt in Vidor, both of them are an hour away from me. So it's like, my thought is that's a normal drive for me to enjoy one. So it is July. I've already been talking to Josh about setting up a day during the haunt season to go to one and then the other, and then if it's possible, find another one.
Or just move to Ohio.
Needed yet. I'm working on it.
Yeah, the street for like 20 haunts every day.
Just go down I-75. You'll see them. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, I do want to point out there are opportunities for people to come to haunts, and they can do a number of haunts. Like we have said, Trans World stuff plenty of time. We have said East Coast. We've said West Coast. But there is another part of Trans World, and it is Trans World's legendary haunt tour. Yeah. And this year's haunt tour, it will be going to Dent. It will be going to USS Nightmare, which is on the Ohio River. It is actually a boat that is on the river. And it is, I do believe it's a 2-day event that you can go to these haunts, and you get on a bus and they get you through here as much as possible. And I know that me and Raz has talked about in the past that, it'd be awesome if we could find a tour to do my haunt, his haunt, even though ours is a distant haunt. And now I talked to another haunt, and he said he would probably be game for that one. And that's Haunted Town Hall in Lafayette. So if that's a possibility, you might be able, if we could get this all worked out, you might be able to get into Hell's Dungeon, Chainers Field of Screams, and then Lafayette Haunted Town Hall. Boom, boom, boom. But you also got to take a consideration. When you're doing these, you got to figure out where the bus is starting. So if the bus starts down in Dayton, the good possibility it could travel to Lafayette. Once it goes from Lafayette, can hit ours. Once it hits ours, because we're right off I-75, it can go straight down to Hell's Dungeon, which ain't too far away from I-75, but they also have a decent amount of parking area.
A lot of parking. Lots and lots of parking.
And the bad thing is, when you're going to do one of these tours, you got to take in consideration it's a 50-50 shot on the weather. So if you're doing an outside haunt, it might not be able to be ran just because. And we've taken that in consideration. If this tour does happen and everything does get worked out, it would be a possibility of Chainers only being a small little donation of $3. That would be just to get us in there, just to get people to go, hey, this is a pretty nice little haunt. Now, I know that we're not a mega haunt, and I know that Hell's Dungeon is not a mega haunt. Neither is Haunted Town Hall. But we do have things that other haunts don't have, and we're very proud of who we are.
I think it'd be a great opportunity, honestly. It sounds like a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you, every single haunt has something totally different. And I will tell you, Hell's Dungeon might have plenty of parking for cars, but excuse me, Haunted Town Hall has a pretty nice size spot for a bus.
Yeah.
So, and as soon as that gets in there, you would get through really quickly because you are on the bus. That means that you guys would go straight through the VIP and then straight back on the bus to come to the next location. That's a really great opportunity. We don't guarantee it's happening, but if it does happen, I'm sure we are going to talk about it. And if it doesn't happen this year, I'm sure we'll talk about it next year. Because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of haunts out there that we could make a couple years running of this show.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And, there's a lot of specialty shows we've been talking about wanting to do that aren't, everybody gets a chance to promote their haunt, but like panels and different cool ideas that we've had to get even more, episodes out of it. So, like, I don't think this show's ending anytime soon, man.
Oh, yeah. And we still need to work out when we're going to have the clowning around. Yep. Because the clowning around, man, I cannot wait for that episode. I know I got one friend that absolutely says that she will not watch it because it is clowns.
But I'm looking forward to it. I love clowns.
Yeah. And you know what? Some clowns, they actually are outside clowns that come into the haunt industry and know how to clown around and how to be a clown, because that's professionally what they do. And they just want to be a dark clown for part of the year.
Yeah.
It's one of those amazing things that you never know when you get into a haunt what you're going to get into.
Haunts are like a box of chocolates. Sorry. I just watched that again. Yeah.
By the way, last year we did something, and I know we're going to repeat it on Chainers Field of Screams side. We've got plenty of tickets that we like to give away. And as we are officially past Independence Day, a lot of people say that this is the opening of Halloween season because no one really decorates for some of the other holidays.
Shame on them.
I'm just
Was
saying.
I supposed to take my decorations down for all the holidays? Because they're all up at once.
I didn't get that.
No, I will tell you that there is a werewolf that was on the news for a couple weeks because the city of Piqua, Ohio, was saying that they needed to take in their Halloween decorations. So what did they do? They decorated that giant 10-foot werewolf. I do believe it was a 10-foot werewolf.
Yep, it was.
In different seasonal clothing and said, well, he's celebrating, he identifies. I've had skeletons in my yard that we have decorated them because I flat out told the village administrator he identifies as a different holiday.
Yep.
In fact, we had two skeletons in the yard one time, and one was holding up a box of chocolate that was heart-shaped, and the other one, actually, I got her hands to pose like this, and she was in a dress, and he had a bow tie. He was proposing during Valentine's Day.
That's awesome.
The kids going to school absolutely love to see this stuff. The village administrator, he absolutely does not agree with it, and there's nothing, because my biggest argument is, if you're going to go after my stuff, you got to go after everybody that leaves up their Christmas lights just because they don't plug them in.
Doesn't mean they're not there.
But I will tell you right now, on this wonderful envelope here, I do have an address. I do have a stamp. It is ready to go. It does have one of our Allight business cards in it. Raz swears up and down, if you use the QR code, you got to really, really put your believing powers into it, or it will not work right.
Yep.
Apparently, I don't believe enough.
Believe in yourself. Like, believe in yourself and believe now, man.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, as people have noticed on Chainer's Field of Screams Facebook group, I have posted over and over and over, here's your chance to win tickets. And I kid you not, I have talked it over and no one has said a single thing about, hey, we don't want to give out tickets, because we want everybody to come see our art project. And when I say our art project, there is something that is very meaningful that is in that field this year that I can't wait, because as time goes on, I think we're going to keep it because it's very meaningful, and that's Dilbert's Garden. We finally got Dilbert's Garden up this year, and if you have came to our haunt last year, you realize that we actually had children in the corn. Well, we don't have the corn stalks growing this year. We actually have something else. And during the summer, it's so beautiful. I'm sure that there's going to be pictures. But during October and September, it looks horrible. And that's the design of it. So hopefully this year, and don't, please, anybody that watches this and thinks of Chainer's Field of Screams, please remember that September 5th is our Nobu Trick or Treat. And we already talked to the Ghostbusters. They want to return. So we're going to have the Ghostbusters out there.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. I've been thinking about reaching out to them also for our opening.
Dude, I have a phone number up here, and it's awesome because whenever you call it and you get the voicemail, it says Janine is currently unavailable to take your call, but she'll get a hold of you as soon as she gets back. The Ghostbusters are currently out busting a ghost.
Epic, man.
The group that works with us, they're very, very wonderful. It is the Central Ohio ones. I got the business card up here, and I was just like looking at it going, I think, yep, it is Central Ohio's that came last year. They were wanting to come back this year.
Nice.
We're super excited. We gave them the date, and it was funny. They said, well, let us know when you're doing it next year. And I said, okay. I said, give me 5 seconds. Okay, it's on the 5th. Well, how do you know? I said, trust us. We are not getting off that weekend.
Right. That's awesome.
But September 20th, Yeah, September 20th is officially when we start Chainers Field of Screams. It is on a Friday. Other haunts, Friday the 13th is coming in September this year. You know they're going to be open, except for Hell's Dungeon. You guys are just going to go and hang out with other haunts and go around.
We're going to the 14th instead. And then, funny enough, Saturday the 14th is one of my favorite comedy horror films. You guys have never seen that movie, so it falls totally in line with us as a haunt. And also, haunts also may have a tough weekend that weekend because that's also when Horror Hound is going to be. And I was supposed to go to that, and the scheduling of things changed because usually we open the weekend earlier than that. But with the way things fell, it just kind of, things changed. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good weekend for everybody in the horror community, I think, no matter what.
Right. But yeah, I just can't wait. Jenny, usually this is the part of the show that you love asking us questions. I gotta go check on something real quick because we just had some rain come through. Rez, can you take over for a second? I surely hope so.
Yeah. Sean says, thank goodness someone else who has seen Saturday the 14th. I have. I absolutely love it. A long time ago, when I decided to name Owlite for a separate project before it was a network, one of the reasons why I chose Owlite, it was two reasons, really. One, because Owlite is another one to say midnight. And two, was actually because of Saturday the 14th, when the mom confuses the vampire bats for owls. That was a big thing in my childhood. Like, every time I would see a bat, I'd be like, hey, Mom, it's an owl. So that it's a huge thing. And also, I've seen the sequel, because it does have a very odd, only slightly related sequel. But great franchise.
I didn't even know there was a sequel.
Yep.
I just follow you and go on weird tangents.
Yeah, when it comes to movies, man, especially obscure shit, I know a lot about a lot of weird things. I get bored, but it's called Saturday the 14th Strikes Back. It came out like 1988, so 7 years after the first one.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
slightly cheaper.
I now know what to look for. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. A while back, I managed to find some really battered VHS copies that barely functioned, but I was able to transfer them to a DVD for my mom one year for Mother's Day because she loves those movies. And I had done it. I did that, and then next one, it was like 15 years before Disney Plus. I managed to find Mr. Boogedy and Mr. Boogedy Takes a Bride, the horror movie, cheesy horror movies from Disney, and I found a very similar where someone had recorded it off TV because they never made VHSs of them. Someone had recorded them off TV, and I was able to yank them on a disc. And so the following Mother's Day, she got those movies.
I had to do that with Child of Glass for Mom. She loves that movie so much.
Good movie, man. It's hard to find. For a while, I couldn't find the Tom Hanks movie Mazes and Monsters. It was a made-for-TV movie he did about the dangers of D&D, basically. It was an amazing movie. He played his acting, and that was fantastic. And I remembered it from being like, an on-TV thing, and I couldn't find it because they'd stopped printing it for years. And I, again, found someone that happened to have it recorded, made copies. And then, like, 4 years after I did that, they put out new VHSs and a DVD transfer. I'm like, son of a bitch, I could have waited. But you never know when a movie is going to be, like, never released again, like, or go out of print. And it's hard. There's a lot of movies out there that lost the time. Because fires in studios happened. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you know that the majority, not the majority, but a big chunk of the classic episodes were all lost. And the only reason they've been a lot of them have been restored is because people keep finding them recorded on tapes. And for a long time, I think they still do it, but I might be wrong. The BBC would actually pay you money for recorded tapes that had lost Doctor Who episodes on it. And every now and again, they'll find like a treasure trove, or it'll be like an estate, and somebody will go through all these blank recorded, VHS tapes, and they'll find like a ton of lost episodes out of nowhere.
Right. So I just want to point out to all the wonderful haunters, haunt actors, owners, home haunters, that we are always looking for people to get a hold of us. That way we can have you come on the show. If you have anything to do with the haunt industry, that is like a big thing for us. We seriously want to talk to you. I know that we are going to have a guy I've never met on the show. His name is Sean, and every single time I swear I'm going to meet this guy, I never have. So one of these days, and I do believe that he's in charge of a Boy Scout camp haunted house type. And that's awesome. So that is going to be a kid-friendly episode when we actually get Sean to come on. It'll be really great to actually meet him. Yeah. I've never met this guy, and I will tell you that someone did give me one of the patches that they had last year, and it is a Frogman patch. It does not have a wand.
It's not Frogman. It's a frog.
I'm just saying.
Shape.
So yeah, I'm always excited to have this. One of these days, we're going to have other people from other haunts. Ron is one of the people from a different haunt, and maybe his haunt, he wants to talk about it, or maybe someone from his haunt wants to talk on the show about his haunt. I'm always excited to have different people. Sometimes owners want to talk. Sometimes managers want to talk. Sometimes actors want to talk for the haunts. It just depends. We are always looking for different people. And the way you get a hold of us is you send an email to
owllightsociety@gmail.com.
and that lovely lady will absolutely look at it, and she'll make sure that she lets me know, because I do have permission to look at the emails, but I've got enough emails I look at that's outside of Outlight.
I check it almost every single day. I say almost, because days are busy on my end, and I have to take care of the stuff on my end, and then everything's pushed to the side.
So absolutely have patience with us. But if you know a haunt, you want your haunt to be on here, you want to talk about your home haunt, what got you started? Max did not get into why he got started, but I know the reason. It's because Maximus's birthday is on Halloween. And when you're born on Halloween, you almost feel like that is the biggest thing in the world that you should do.
Our very own, that's a reminder that Dell's birthday is also on Halloween.
Yes.
I was confused. I was so confused.
For reminding me. It's
Oh, I mean, seriously, please, just don't judge me. Oh, that's Dell judging us. Anyway, so, Friday, what would you like to talk about here?
Okay.
My fries. Sorry about that.
That's fine. Eat your fries. And this is, I know, a big question for those starting out. When you're starting out as a haunt actor, what would, from your level of experience, what do you want them to know starting out?
That is a really great question. And something I've told countless people is understand you are not going to scare everyone. And there's going to be that one person that you do something and you scare them so terrifying that they are going to remember you. And I've done that with Chainers so many times, but one person, I scared her so bad that she was trick-or-treating and seeing my Chainer gear, and she actually walked across the street to get away from that gear and said, I know who that is. That's Thomas Chainer. And it's a miracle that anybody outside of my haunt knows who Thomas Chainer is. But Thomas Chainer is my character. I've had him since I started. And it just, this whole character, to have somebody actually know it is a miracle. So I looked at the dad and I said, is she okay? Yeah, she can't handle that stuff. She went to a haunt and seen that stuff, and she started screaming, it's Thomas Chainer. And I start laughing, and he goes, well, for about 2 weeks after we went through that haunt, she was having night terrors. Because Thomas Chainer said, if you ever forget my name, I will hide underneath your bed, and I will wait until you sleep, and then you will remember me. And I looked at that dad, and I said, I am so sorry. I didn't think that she would have taken it that far. And he goes, oh, is that you? I said, yeah. He goes, man, we have absolutely had to like sleep in the same room or this and that. We've got this under control now. He goes, but let me just tell you, you did a fine good job. And that's what I'm going to tell you. When you're haunting for the very first time, you're starting out, things are going to be scary to some people, but not even come close on others. And it's okay. But if you're out in the country, I swear those city folk will tell you every single time, I know there's a guy in here with a pitchfork. I don't have a single pitchfork in my haunt.
That's true. They're all taken by the villagers.
Oh, I don't have that on there.
Oh, you keep forgetting. Now, do you want me to answer as an actor or as someone who trains actors? Because they would be very different, well, somewhat different responses.
I think both are warranted.
Okay. As an actor, find a way to wear comfortable shoes, man. I'm dead fucking serious about this. Wear comfortable shoes. If you can paint some shoes that are comfortable to you or find some way to work them into your character, you're on your feet a lot and it's painful. Get inserts also, like Dr. Scholl's, for your shoes. I don't care if you're young. I don't care if you're old. It's going to tear your back up, and you got to take care of yourself. On top of that, have a haunter kit. Have a little backpack that you take with you and you can hide in your scene. Inside that pack, you're going to want some deodorant. You're going to want some extra bottles of water. Get yourself a couple of, empty Kroger bags, Meyer bags, whatever, little trash bags from grocery stores. That way you can clean up after yourself and help clean up after the people near you, because it's an asshole thing to do to leave your trash around. Also, socks. Have clean socks. Like always a pair of clean socks. You would be surprised if you're outdoors and it rains and you're open, you're going to want socks. If you've been running around all night on your feet, you're going to want socks, without shoes or anything on. And if you've been running around all night in the same dirty ass socks and you're sweating, your feet are going to thank you. Feet care, man. Feet care is a big deal. Have those things ready in a bag, ready to go with you at all times. Call it your haunt bag, your haunt kit, whatever. Just have it. And you're going to find other little things that are important to you. Maybe it's a little sewing kit for your costume if you have an elaborate costume. You are going to find things to put in that bag that are for you and for your character that are going to help you. And having that every night puts you ahead of the game. Also, stretching. Make sure you're doing some stretches. Work yourself out before you get in there and start the night. Don't just start cold. Be ready. Something that Sean just said always, which is a response you're going to get from me as an actor and me as an actor trainer, is you're there to entertain everyone. Some people you're going to scare. Some people you're going to make laugh. You need to bone up on your improv skills and your ability to read customers, because, man, you're going to, if you pay attention to customers' body language and the way they're talking in the rooms before yours, you're going to know what you're about to get yourself into right as they're coming around that corner, and you're going to know how to react appropriately. So that's going to be all from the actor side, man, and put a lot of time in your character. Think about becoming your character. From the trainer side, building on the acting thing, when you build a character, build some of yourself into it. That way it's easy for you to create that bridge from yourself into that character to get you in character. The longer you play that character, remove those things that are more like you. Develop that character's personality, make it more and more unique as you go along. But you got to have that bridge to get that comfort zone, to really be in there, to feel comfortable, because you're not going to feel comfortable starting out. Even if you're an actor, even if you're, you love horror, haunts are different, man. A lot of people have asked me what I would compare haunts to. To some degree, it's more like theater acting than any other type of acting, because it's live. But unlike theater, you only have anywhere between usually 9 to 15 seconds, unless you're in a stop scene or something, bigger, to interact with someone. So if you screw up or don't remember your line, they don't know what your act is. They do not know what your act is. Play it off. Glare at them menacingly. Go for a second jump scare. Whatever's on the top of your head, just say it and move on. And as long as it's not, following the rules of your haunt. Some don't allow, bad language or whatever. Just follow the rules of your haunt. But don't stop, because if you stand there like a deer, frozen in the headlights, they're gonna know, oh, that actor just fucked up. And you're the one that just told them you fucked up. They don't know. They have no idea what you're supposed to do. So use that as a level of confidence to know that you're going to bounce back. You're going to have this happen a couple times to you every night. I still do. 30 years in, and I still have a couple moments where I'm just like, and then I launch into something. You just got to work on your recovery and not show it. Don't physically show on your face that you just said something wrong or you did the wrong movement, because they will never know. Trust your leads, man. Trust the people in your area that have been doing this longer than you to know how to help you, to know that their advice that they're giving you or that your actor trainer is giving you is because they've spent a lot of time in the industry. But also, if you think something might be a better idea, don't be afraid to discuss those ideas with your trainer, with your leads, because it doesn't matter how long we're in the industry. We learn things from newbies all the time. Every year, I learn at least one new thing from someone that's never hunted before. And that is one of the main reasons I keep hunting. Your ideas, some might be good, some might be bad, some might be great, but just like we can't have chainsaws indoors because we're indoors because of the gas. So we've had a lot of really cool chainsaw ideas. People are like, I want to do this. Like, oh, that's great, but I'm sorry we can't, fire. So don't get discouraged if you come up with an idea that can't be used for some reason. Just keep at it. Also, you're going to know in the first two weekends if haunting is for you. Understand that the biggest turnover rate in the haunted house industry happens in the first 2 weeks. We lose the most amount of people in those first 2 weeks than any other industry, I think, out there, because a lot of people think, oh, this is exactly where they need to be. They do it, and that it's not until they start doing it that they realize the physical requirement and the time requirement to do these things. It's a lot. It's a lot. Even if you're laying, you're a victim that's laying in a table or something, getting their guts ripped out, you still have to stay in that position for hours. It's still a lot. You still have to be there a lot of hours. Every role has a big commitment to it. And even if you're a floater, even more so if you're a floater, because you're going to get tossed in a different space every night and have to learn new skills. And that might be the most time-consuming position to learn. But stick with it. Lean on your fellow haunters, lean on your scene mates, lean on your trainer, your managers. Talk to them, be honest with them, be open to them about how they're feeling. So many people that quit in those first 2 weeks could have stayed with it and would have loved it, but they didn't know that it was okay to talk about their comfort level. They didn't know that, it was okay, to discuss certain things. Discuss them. Be open, be honest. You might turn what you think is not going to work out for you and like a big bummer into one of the coolest things you've ever done just by, using your words, man. So yeah, I would say that pretty well covers both sides of me.
I will tell you, as a person that has been haunting for 20 years, one of the best things that I can tell you to do if you're starting out and you don't know what you're doing is just take in consideration that the haunt industry is not a movie. No. Don't think that, oh, well, it's going to be bone chilling. No, this is interactive. You got to come up with your own thing. And my suggestion to a lot of my haunters is, I know it might be something that you're not always comfortable with, but if you don't know anything, pick up a wonderful book of the human anatomy and tell them body parts that you're going to rip from them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love this book. I love many anatomy books. And I have studied people that do piercings just to tell them how their piercings go in and how they come out, how to do it safely. And then just look at them and say, but that's not how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to hold your face down and just pull it out with a pair of pliers. Anybody that has a piercing knows the pain of doing it incorrectly, of coming out. So just having that cringe thought in their head is a great way to start.
Oh yeah.
Take what you know and make it into your character.
One of the things that I do to help combat the anxiety of getting started is I actually have lines, like a bunch of different possible lines written for every section of our haunt. And it's on a Google Doc that everyone in the haunt has access to. So your first couple weekends, if you're new or you're nervous, even if you're returning and you're just nervous, or maybe you're in a new section, go on there. Pick a couple you like, try them out the first weekend. Cool. Establish your comfortability. Now that second weekend, I'd like for you, along with those pre-generated lines, to start working in your own. Then by the third weekend, I'd prefer you not to be using any of the lines that I wrote. Those are just to get you comfortable and to get you moving. That way you have a starting point and you can learn to build from it. Because by the third weekend, you better know your character enough to know what they would or wouldn't say.
Right. And, just remember you messed up on one group. So what? That next group is coming.
There'll be 100 more that night.
The only group that you mess up and you don't get a fresh restart off of it is the very last group of the season. Well, actually, no, it's the very last group of your career.
Yeah.
That's the only one that you cannot restart and do fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, I've been to different haunts. I've played different characters. And my character I've created, he is the one that feels so much that it needs to be portrayed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a firm believer in having information be one of your tools of the trade. If you go and you see how things operate, if you're playing a character and he's in a boiler room, why don't you have ideas of how hot boilers get, at what temperature steam is created? That way you can pull them into your world of telling them that you turn this knob, steam's going to come out, and water boils at this temperature. I think it's 220 degrees, isn't it?
Boiling point?
Yeah.
Right. I have a little bit of a rant, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It's not really a rant. It's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. We talk so much about, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be this. But I thought about some advice I could give someone that wants to do what I do, like train actors. Because there's a lot of people out there that actually have a lot of acting skill that would be great trainers. And something I was thinking, like, just now it hit me was the biggest thing you got to do is have compassion. We all know that I'm autistic and I have other mental things, and I sometimes struggle with emotion, but I've learned to understand what looks and freezes mean when I see them in people. So I can tell if someone's, having an anxiety attack, or I can tell if someone's angry or things like that. And here's actually a really good example of this. 212 degrees. A good example. I like to hire, if we go younger, I like to make sure that the younger ones have performance experience, like show choir, flag, cheerleading, stuff like that, and for a good reason, especially show choir. With show choir, you have to know how to use your space. You have to know how to project your voice. There's skills that are ingrained in you that are just so important in haunts. We had a girl, we still have her. She's amazing. I won't say her name because I don't want to embarrass her. A very talented actress, talented singer, just very talented everything. And she got really nervous in the very beginning, and had this I can't do this breakdown. And she, they sent for me. I came back. I was literally only a couple minutes away from her scene at the time anyway. So I get over there and she sees me, and then she starts breaking down, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And it was because one person was absent in the scene next door, and I'd asked her to work both rooms. So she felt so overwhelmed. So I sat there and I was like, we're going to have two conversations right now. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm going to talk to you as a friend first. As a friend, love you very much, man. You're amazing. You're talented. I definitely know you can do this, and you can do more than this. And you got this. All you have to do is take 5 extra steps and holler at them and push them through that room. You don't even have to go into that room. Just take 5 extra steps. She's like, 5? I'm like, yep, just count them with me right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we counted the steps together. She's like, that made me feel better. What's the second conversation? I was like, all right, this is a management conversation. It's 5 steps. Take 5 steps. I'm going to stand over here. I'm going to keep an eye on you for the next 3 groups. Make sure you're okay before I take off on you. She's like, okay, I think I can do this. I sat and I watched her for all 3 groups. The first group, she was a little nervous. The second one, she got better. The third one, not only did she kill it, but she had this big grin on her face when I came out of the hiding spot to check on her again. She's like, thank you. No one's ever just sat down with me and talked and used my experience, and like counted the steps. She's like, that made the whole difference to me. She's like, I was thinking about quitting tonight. And that was in the beginning of last season. And not only did she stay with us all last season, but she's coming back this season because I took that time to, stop and think about her experience and use that to help her get over, an anxiety. And I think as an acting trainer, that's one of the most perfect examples I've had as the kind of person you need to be and the kind of temperament you need to have and the type of care you need to have for, the people you're training. So many trainers just say, okay, wear this mask, say this, go in there. And those are the haunts that lose people. Those are the haunts that lose a lot more people in those first 2 weekends, man, because you don't have the compassion. All haunts want to say they're a family, but the family starts in training. It starts right when they walk in the door with the owner, like Fred, going, hey, how you doing? I'm Fred. Are you coming in to interview? Like Fred starts it then. I started during the interviews and during the training. We just keep it going. But you have to have that compassion, that love for your craft. And also, like I said earlier, that willingness to understand that no matter how long you've been doing this, you don't know everything. You can't know everything.
No.
So there's my fun educational rant over.
So I do want to show you this. This is actually what the scouts get from being at that haunt.
That's so cool.
They do it every single year a little differently. This year, they made the Frogman one, and it is really cool to see that a charity group, a Boy Scout group, is able to do this.
It is, man.
Years ago, there was a Girl Scout group that they absolutely did the exact same thing. They had a haunt. They ran the haunt, did wonderful at that haunt. But at some point, something happened and it ceased to exist.
Yeah.
Hello. What is this? Hello from Texas.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Good to have you guys.
Hi. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's one of the things in the haunt industry, and there is a difference between paranormal and what we call haunting. A haunting and the paranormal is that you might have a table that moved or something like this. This is when we say haunters, we're talking about actors that do stuff with different haunts.
Yep.
These are now Blood Prison is one that has best of both worlds. Yeah. And we had Vic on the show, and go back and look at Vic. He was a wonderful guest.
And that's Mansfield Reformatory that one's at.
Yep, Mansfield's Reformatory. It's Ohio State Reformatory turns into Blood Prison. Man, I still can't believe that they actually have to tear that thing down and rebuild it every year. Gee,
oh yeah, it's a lot.
We have one like that. The Gothic Gel After Dark in DeRitter. That's ours. Yeah? They're a haunt during haunt season, and this Saturday they're actually doing a ghost tour.
Nice. Yeah. Sometimes we throw them at each other.
Yeah. Some haunts are so extreme that they will throw random things at you, and you just got to be prepared that these haunted houses absolutely. I was told a long time ago, one of the things that you got to understand about a haunted house in this industry, we are there to make you feel uncomfortable. If you go and you complain to a haunt and say, well, you didn't make me feel good, we will pat each other on the back and say, good job.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. Absolutely.
And sometimes
we dress up.
Sometimes we throw things at each other behind the scenes where you don't see it. Like cables.
I've had giant furries come after me with, yeah. At a haunt I went to,
Too meaning.
you go into this, you come into this room and you're just like looking at everything and the walls are fur and you're like, what is this? And then all of a sudden you come around this corner and there is a furry suit and you're just like, okay.
No.
And I did not know that. So, huh?
You say ooh, and then you go around.
No, you go around the corner and here this fursuit is, and I had no idea that people are actually scared of furries to the point that they made a fur wall room and furries chase you.
Yeah. No, it can be terrifying for some people.
Yeah. And that's one of the things when you're starting this industry, please understand that not everything is going to be scary for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
I've made a biker drop to his knees. I've made football players drop to their knees. And I've had a little kid look at me and go, "You're not that scary." Oh, do you know how bad I want to just chase you down? But you know what? Someone asked me very nicely to let you go through. Well, as soon as she got it to the end, I was like, okay, she's making fun of everyone. And I told everybody, I said, turn it up. And somebody said, well, they asked for a light scare. And I was like, yeah, she's taunting us. You're done with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, don't taunt us because your light scare turns into full game.
Yeah, sections have radio or contact in most haunts. So we pass information very quickly, like by mouth and by radio, like very quickly through the haunt. If we hear your name in the queue line, you may hear us say your name all the way through.
Yeah. And we love doing that. We really do. If I find your name out, and funniest thing is, I go and I'm one of the people that's in the front taking tickets. I'll go up to a kid and shake their hand and say, hey, so where are you from? What's your name? Usually it's a shirt or a hoodie from their school that they're wearing. And it's like, okay, you're from Bremen. Okay, that's cool. Hey, look, I see you're a Cardinal. Hey, that's pretty cool. And then you go and they turn and they have their name on their shirt. And you say their name and they're like, what? How did you know? How? And it freaks them out. And then they realize it's on their shirt. Then you tell them over the radio, I've got Kristen. She's coming down. She said she's not scared of anything. And she said that she will own us.
Yep.
That will taunt everybody quick enough like that everybody's like, we got this.
And that's a very old school thing that not a lot of haunts do anymore. Like sometimes you'll do it or whatever, but it used to be a thing in the 80s and 90s where they would actually intentionally find out your name and then like ever so many groups through with the name, and then the name would pass to the house in 5 seconds. And sometimes it works great. Yeah. Sometimes the names get lost along the way, or you hear the wrong name, you say the wrong name. You know, it happens. But I like it when haunts do that a lot. That's something that we try and do. It's fun. But you mentioned, we keep talking about, how sometimes you're just entertaining people. So on the non-scary side of things, when I read Beetlejuice, ever since I started doing that at the haunt, we get a lot of people that will come when they find out if I'm going to be in character just because they like the spectacle, I guess. When I was in a permanent scene, you'd either have to marry me or say my name 3 times in order to get to the haunt. Like there was no way around it. I was a stopping point because there was a big scene after us that required timing. So we had this whole thing set up, and Matt was playing Digger. He had his shovel, which it was a real shovel. He actually hit both me and Fred in the face with numerous times over that season, which is why Matt's not allowed to have shovels anymore. But we would do the whole thing. He would marry me. If someone chose to marry me, Matt would do it. I'm like, do you? There was this whole thing. I would tease people. I got married to men, women, children, service animals. Sean from the haunt. That's how we got married in year 1. So many different people that would just come for that experience. And when word got around, people liked that. And, if it was like some little ones and they were obviously terrified, they'd get the Beetlejuice dance party, which is great because I can't dance, but Beetlejuice can't either. So like we would just have a dance party, like a 10-second dance party. Show me your move. Let's do it. Showtime. And then, when the scene after this was ready, I'd push him through. When I did JB and people were, coming around and being an asshole and trying to taunt. And I knew I wouldn't scare them, but JB's an asshole. So I would talk down to them and be like, I'd sit there for like 5 seconds. Because again, we had clowns after us that had a lot, so we had to do timing. And I'd sit there for five seconds, 5 salts, and just staring. Am I going to do anything? And if they prompted me, I would look at my fake watch that I didn't really have, and I'd wait 5 more seconds. And I'd be like, already got your money. Go on ahead. Just fucked up shit like that. Just to hold them up and make a point. Like, if you're going to waste my time, I'm literally going to sit here and I'm going to waste yours because you're an asshole. Or I would literally make fun of them in some way. I'm very quick-witted when it comes to making fun of people. It doesn't matter how quick you think you are. I will beat you. I will just go to that place. And it's, if I'm JB anyway, JB can go to that place real quick. And I would put people in their place. If you had people that were rowdy, I'd snap my fingers, and that was the cue. All the freaks would come out of all their hiding places, and we would surround a group to stand there quietly and make them nervous and just stare at them. And right before they walked away, they'd get the threat. You touch one more fucking thing, and they'll never find you again.
I know one haunt I used to be at. This was when Red Robin had all their commercials. You want to find the monsters? You're a little kid. You just go, Red Robin, and all the monsters would jump up. Yum! Yep. And then we'd run, and we would yell, darn it!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's one of the kings of the elevator, just telling people to basically shut the fuck up and go along for the ride kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you do, you know when to amuse people. Another one, this is a group that I hate. It's the parents who are forcing their kids to go through first while their kids are clearly terrified, even after one of them had pissed themselves. And the parents are, like, making fun of their children and pushing them on, like, oh, you're a pussy, you're this, you're that, like, terrible things. And we get these usually a couple times a season, most haunts do, and all the monsters know about it. Everybody in the house knows about it the second from the queue line because we all know it. We've all seen it. We've passed the information around. And on those, we know the kids are going first, so we never pop out first. We pop out on the adults. We do everything we can without touching them in our haunt to terrorize the adults and look at the kids and have the kids join in on us making fun of their parents. Like, we bond together and do that because the parents are going to ruin their fucking children for haunts. We do not want that at our haunt. We don't want that in the haunt industry. Do not ruin haunts for people. And if you attempt to, we are going to make fun of you, and we're going to have those people help us make fun of you so they can, and instead of coming away with this traumatizing experience, come away with a positive one. The best we can.
Right. Well, guys, we are at our 2-hour mark, and I think we're going to start shutting everything down. You ever been at a haunt where they turn off the lights? That's what will happen one of these days if we don't get our bills paid. That's why we always have our commercials in the middle. That way we can keep our lights on. Yeah. But I just want everybody to know that we appreciate you guys having coming on. Blah.
Words.
Yeah, words are hard indeed. Jeez, a criminy. Anyway, very thankful for everybody showing up and watching the show and being part of this. If you ever have any questions for the people or you have questions for us, please send them in them comments. We love reading them. Some of the comments we post up here. That way everybody can see them. But since we're going to say our goodbyes, Friday, where can we find you?
Oh, I'm everywhere. You can find me at Owlite, at Faycore, at my pages, Friday with the Library in the Blue Box, and my author page, Jennifer Elliott. I like to be everywhere and everyone.
Okay. Dr. Raz, where can we find you?
Oh, you can just type in Raz T Slasher into your favorite search engine. You're going to find a shit ton of stuff. Speaking of Jenny being everyone, she's often me on most of my social medias. So say hello to the #1 Raz T Slasher cosplayer in the world. And unless it's Facebook's hit or miss. If it's my actual account, it'll be me. If it's Raz T Slasher, it's probably gonna be her. If you actually go to Slasher, the Slasher app or slasher.com, that's gonna be me. If you see me on Discord, that's me. Or if you see It Sees Me on Reddit, that's also me personally. Otherwise, RazTSlasher.com or your mom's house tomorrow morning. Don't worry, I'm there for the pancakes.
knew you were going to say that. By the way, Raz, can you also tell your mom I left my wallet on her nightstand?
I will let her know.
Please return that. Hey, you all have a great day. I'm Pyle. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, here on the Outlight Network. And trust me, I love coming to all these wonderful shows that we have. And Raz, we have more than one show on this network, right?
Jesus, yeah, we have a ton of shows on this network. We're in the slower summer season, so we don't have as many shows during the summer as we have in other seasons. But yeah, there's 4 different rotating shows just on Sunday alone. We have 2 different rotating shows on Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're taking off. This show is every other Friday, and also Fridays during the day at the non-normal 9 o'clock hour, usually around 4 or 5. You have the Bloody Bench podcast, which is awesome. That's with our buddy Steven. Also, Steven, who runs the elevator, or used to run it. He's moving up in the world this year. But yeah, there's just so much content. No matter what you like, you will find a show for you. You know, we have a paranormal show that's going to be coming back in the fall. Our gaming show is going to come back in the fall. Wrestling's coming back probably in the fall. But we are a whole, network dedicated to all the different forms of storytelling in one way or another, and all the different things you love. So no matter what it is, you're going to find it, and it's going to be brought to you by Wicked FX because they're absolutely amazing.
That's so funny you say Wicked FX. He's buzzing me right now, texting me. I don't know what he needs, but
hilarious.
But we are absolutely thankful for every single one of you guys that comes. And don't forget, if you missed part of this episode, we can let you watch it all over again because it goes straight on to YouTube, right?
Yep. Right.
And as soon as this concludes, it goes instantly where you can watch it on Facebook.
Make sure you're liking and subscribing everywhere you find it. Sometimes we do stuff on Twitch, so make sure you like our Twitch. Anywhere you find us, like us, subscribe to us, follow us, do all the above. We could really use your help right now, guys.
Absolutely. And don't forget to threaten your friends to make sure that they know they need to do the same thing.
We know where they live.
Teach them a lesson if you need to. Crack your knuckles, put them in a chair, and say, you're going to do this.
And if you're feeling froggy, you can even slap them in the face with Ed, the 3-foot bluegill of common sense.
Ed, the 3-foot bluegill.
Yes,
I just want to borrow some clowns and have them go twerk on their lawn until they like and follow.
That's it, guys. If you're clowns at home, please send us twerking videos, like twerking out in your yard, twerking out in public. Send them to us so we can. I can put together a montage, and I will play that in our next episode if you guys send it to us.
Oh my gosh, we need to hunt down Sydney Hyatt Woods's. There is a clown. I can't remember his clown name, but it was McLovin that did it, and it was him and another clown, and they were doing "Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay."
I'll tell you what. Make a post asking for clown twerking videos, and I'm legit here. I will make some clown twerking videos. We'll just get clowns twerking in public, man. Twerk for summer.
Yeah. Oh boy. Don't whatever you do, don't do what they did years ago and actually have clowns standing on corners and trying to creep people out just to send us the videos. We don't want that.
Clothed, preferably, please. We can't air anything that doesn't involve clothing, and I don't want to see it. So
and stay away from schools.
Yeah, not
No
near
more clowns at schools.
Yeah.
Unless you're invited.
Yes. So, follow legal precautions and things like that when you're doing this. We are not going to incur any sort of lawsuits or penalties because we've asked you to do this. Covering our bases. Keep it legal.
Accidents happen every day. But
we will not be held responsible.
Hey, it's been a blast with you guys, and I'll tell you what, Friday, I think we got one more thing, and as this plays, we're going to conclude. So, Friday, you want to help us sign off and show the last thing?